This is Algebra 1, Lesson 27B, Simplifying Decimal Equations. We're going to do examples 27.5 and 27.6. Now, look at these equations. We see it's an equation because we have an equal sign there, right? And then this equation over here. These two equations have a similar format to the ones we've been doing. They're not that complicated, except that they have these decimal numbers in them. Okay, you have a lot of decimal places in this problem. So what would make these simpler? Well, it would make it a lot simpler if I could just get rid of those decimals. But we can't just get rid of them. Okay, we have to do something mathematical, and we know we have to do something mathematical, the same mathematical thing, to both sides of the equation to keep it balanced. So let's just kind of brainstorm for a second. What could we do to just this term right here that would make it not have a decimal in it? Well, some will say, just move it. Well, there's no operation in math that's just move the decimal, but I can multiply by something. I could multiply that term by 10. And then if I multiplied that term by 10, I'd have a 4, right? And I would get rid of the decimal. And as long as I do the same thing to both sides, every term, so we would multiply this by 10, and that would move it over. And we'd multiply this by 10. Okay, so I'm showing here I'm multiplying all of this by 10. The problem there is I still have a decimal in the problem. So what if I had multiplied by 100? I'll add another 0 in there. Then that would have made this 40. And then this would have been 2. And then this would have been 460. Now I do not have any decimals in that problem. Okay? Now, we're going to go ahead and do that problem, but I just wanted you to kind of think about it first. Let's do that problem using that kind of a math hack for you. We could do this. We could use the steps that we talked about in a previous video, and we could solve this equation. But first, let's get rid of those decimals. So multiplying by 10 would work for this one, but I'm going to need to multiply this by 100, and this a 10 would work. So let's go ahead and multiply them all by 100, because what that will do is that will keep my equation balanced. And this is really sort of a distributing problem, is what this is going to become. When I multiply the 4/10 by 100, it's going to move this 2 places, right? So that's going to become 40 plus. When I multiply this by 100, it's just going to become 2. M equals, when I multiply this by 100, it's going to become 460. There, so I brought our steps in from a previous video. Do we have any like terms that are on the same side that need to be added together? No like terms there, just one term on that side. So we've taken care of this. Eliminate the variable on one side. There's only one variable, right? So that part's easy. And then eliminate the constant term on the side with the variable. So here's our variable right here. And here's our constant term that's with it. So let's subtract 40, because 40 minus 40 would be 0. It's going to go away. Let's subtract 40 on the other side to keep things balanced. So 2m equals 420. We took care of that step. Let's solve for the variable. They're multiplying the m by 2, so let's divide both sides by 2. And we find out that m is equal to 210. All right, example 6, and our last example for this section. We need to get rid of those decimals. So if you want to keep these steps listed in your notebook, or make a little bookmark or an index card or something that you could use to help you, you wouldn't need it long because you'd have it memorized pretty quickly. We had added a step 0 in a previous video where we said kind of clean up the signs, right? I guess you could make a step -1 because that's what's before 0. And you could say, get rid of the decimals. if necessary. And that would help you to know, hey, that's something I can do before I even start solving the equation to help me make it a little easier. All right, so on our first term here, what am I going to need to multiply by? Well, if I multiply by 10, it'd go there. By 100, it'd go there. By 1,000, it would go there. So I'm going to need to multiply that by 1,000. Let's check the others. This one, I would only need 100, but in order to balance, I'm going to need to multiply by the same thing. And then this one, I only need 100, right? 2 decimal places. So let's multiply everything on both sides by 1,000. Okay? That's going to move this 1, 2, 3, and it's going to be 2k plus, this is going to go 1, 2, 3, that's going to be 20 equals 1, 2, 3, 4,020. All right, so we've gotten rid of our decimals. We don't have any signs to clean up. There's no like terms here, and there's only one term here. And there's only one variable on one side, so that's nice. Eliminate the constant term on the side with the variable. Here's your side with the variable, and here's your constant term. So we're going to subtract that 20 to make it go away. And we're going to get 2k is equal to 4,000. Now, what I'm going to do there is I'm going to solve for the variable. They're multiplying the k by 2. Let's divide it by 2. K is equal to 2,000. And if you substitute that number back into the original equation that still had decimal places in it, it would work. You should try that with your calculator. It's kind of cool to see that it works.